Hello and welcome back to Tallboy Radio, episode 84. So here we are. Hello guys, introduce yourselves, what you're drinking.
Hey, great to be back again. Enjoyed the new format last week. Really enjoyed just chatting with the lads. This week I've got a couple of beers. The first one I know is a TBR favourite, which is a Delirium, which is super. And then when that goes, not if that goes, I think got Erdinger, which I believe I was drinking on the podcast episode, and he suggested that it looked like the size of a wine bottle. So, looking forward to getting rid of those two.
I thought we were doing Bulgarian beers this week. We said last week we were all going to drink Bulgarian beers.
Well, you see, I knew that you would.
Yeah.
And I knew that Andy would, and I just needed to redress the balance because it's been a while since I've been able to drink Belgian beers because Andy used to do the Belgian beer section, so I'm just getting my fill of Belgium. Not that
that's German.
Erding is German. I'll just send the caveat on the side. I assume then that you've got a Bulgarian
I'm not,
beer?
no. I didn't. I did try and pick up a Bulgarian beer, but I couldn't find one. I sent out a teaser on Twitter and I think maybe Instagram. No, it was just Twitter earlier in the week to make it look like I had a Bulgarian beer, but I didn't. And actually, before I tell you what I'm drinking, I need to issue an apology to our listeners, an apology to you.
Okay.
Because we aren't a professional podcast. We are amateurs, but we do our best to send the truth out when we speak. Now, you said something a couple of episodes ago, and I pulled you up on it, dude. 30 years of friendship, I should have trusted you. Mint in beer.
Yes!
It's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
As long as you got a bit of tequila in there as well.
That's fine.
Yeah, I picked up some of these, dude. So it's Desperado's Mojito beer. And as you can tell by the writing on the top, it's from a Polish shop. I thought that was my best bet to find Bulgarian beer. But I found this instead, tequila, mint and lime in beer, and oh my word, it's a good one. So I take it all back. Take it all back.
Preaching a converted. I'm going to be drinking one next now. It's a mint revolution.
Honestly, dude, it's amazing. 6% as well. Happy days.
Yeah, not to be snuffed out.
Talk about 6%. I'm on the old left zero.
Oh.
Because I'm a zero.
Okay.
If we did a blind taste test, I think I'd bet a year's salary on I could guess what's non-alcoholic.
well, that's interesting because we did say when we did it as a beer podcast that we would do that, and I still think we should do that after Todd threw down that challenge to us.
I think when we can arrange and we can all be in the same room and we can taste test in the same room and this, that, and the other, I think that would be. Yeah, I think we should do that.
Definitely. Absolutely, definitely. So what have you guys been up to this week then? Anything interesting?
Planning to go back to work, unfortunately, after only the 6 weeks off. No, I did a first aid course on... Did I mention that last week? I don't really mention that last week. So I did a first aid course Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so 3-day course.
Is that for when we go London?
You know what, Andy? I'm all over sprains, strains, fractures. I'm all over that. So that's in safe hands. That's
Edinburgh sorted as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's Edinburgh sorted. Although some of the sites and injuries you might get in Edinburgh. Yeah. Anyway, so no, it's a 3-day course. It was good. The trainer's name was Flash, and on it genuinely, and he said, "Hi, I'm Flash." And it took all my effort not to go, save me the universe. Anyway, so I didn't do that. And
was she female?
No, male.
Oh, okay.
Male. Ex-forces, so obviously that was probably why I didn't take the piss. But no, honestly, he's really engaging, top guy. But it's a 3-day course. So I spoke to my missus and I was like, she's like, what are you going to do? Like 3 days is pretty intense. So we did emergency first aid and then we went into a little bit more of paediatric first aid. Obviously, we were working in a school and this and the other. So, but no, it's good. We honestly covered obviously CPR and this. It's funny. Flash he was an acronym king, and he came up with acronyms for everything. And I can still remember quite a few of them. And obviously, I go in and speak to Jenny. For those that don't know, my wife is a GP. And she's like, right, okay, yeah, that's useful. No, you shouldn't be doing that. Or yeah, you should be doing that. But no, it's good. So 3-day first aid course last week. And then we've got inset days tomorrow Thursday, Friday. So just prepping for that, pretty much at work. Loads to do. We've had sort of liquor paint and all that sort of things opening in the new year. Well, it's not opening, but new academic year. So yeah, just prepping for that this week, really, pretty much. Yeah. Andy, any news from you? Anything new in the world of IT?
No.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
Same shit with me. I've bought a load of beer though, ready for when the Sprog arrives. So I've got like a big cask of Delirium Red. Got a few the Delirium Black. I can't remember what it's really called now. Black Delirium, I think it is. Got that. I bought some more.
Sorry, go on.
That was 11, I think it was.
Oh wow!
So what are you drinking day 2 then?
Well, I was going to say hopefully my own beer, but I don't think it'd be quite ready. I bought more stuff, so I've got I bought a new container to boil the mash in, and I needed something to, instead of putting it in bottles, I'm going to put it in this massive keg, so it's going to be ready even quicker.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I'll just wait for them to arrive, then I'll start making it. I think.
So when is the grand reveal then? Have you got a date? I mean for the beer. Obviously.
I was about to say beer or child.
I mean the beer, obviously.
Well, hopefully I get all them. I need that mash boiler to come so that I can start it all. So whenever that comes, it'll probably be like a month after, I think. So maybe in time for Christmas or my birthday, maybe in November. But yeah, we'll see. I just need to get a load of whiskey so I can pour it in as well.
We'll try it without the whiskey, and if it's all good, dude.
I've got some Belgian hops and stuff like that, so it'll be quite interesting.
Did you have an idea as to what sort of type of, what type of beer, what flavour beer? Was it going to be like a wheat beer? Was it going to be a dark? Was it going to be an amber? What did you have an idea in mind, or was it just effectively just see what comes out?
I just went for Belgian blonde. So you just buy the can't remember what you could call it now. It's not hops. I bought a load of the little buds and stuff like that. So you put that in the mash to boil it. And then once I've got the hang of that, I'm going to then start mixing different stuff in it. So yeah, it's going to be a Belgian blonde, sort of similar to Lef, I think.
Well, winner.
Cool.
Like the sound of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All over that. So what have you been doing yourself this week, Ad?
Wow, I have been at work this last week. Unfortunately, I don't get 6 weeks off in the summer. And I do mean unfortunately, because I wouldn't mind it. But no, this week, we finally, the old hot tubs turned up, which is pretty cool. We ordered it way back in January. It was one of those flash lockdown purchases where we thought, you know what, we're stuck indoors. We might as well get one of these now while we can. And then it didn't turn up until this week. It was due in April, and then because of problems with whatever they mould it out of, we couldn't get the colour that we wanted. So now we've got a different colour one, which we're quite happy with, to be honest. Actually, now it's arrived, I actually prefer it to the original one we picked. And then obviously it's been protracted. It's been protracted due to Brexit and the red tape of getting something in, because obviously it's come from California. So it has been a little bit of a nightmare to get here, but it is here. And on the day that it arrived, someone drilled through a pipe on the main road, so there was no water coming into our house or any other house in this side of Alsatian.
It was quite humorous, because it popped up on my Facebook and it said, I think we might have a bit of a problem. There's like water gushing out of this main. And then Ad was like, it's here. That was literally like, dude, seriously, like the one day that you don't want to
So we got it filled up that night. Obviously, we couldn't get it quite to the right temperature. Sorry, we told her anyway. It's freezing cold when she went in. Having swimming there was probably for the best. But yeah, by the following day, up to temperature, fired it up, and one of the pumps is damaged. So that's so it continues. So that is getting replaced Thursday. So that's all good. So you can still use it. It's got 2 pumps in there, and pump 1 only works on half the set. And it's got a faulty reader in it, so it thinks it's overheating when it isn't. So it shuts down the system. Yeah. So as long as you keep it on setting 1, and pump 2 is pretty brutal anyway, so you can really enjoy it. The temperature's up there.
Nice.
But the only problem I found is like the cup holders. It's great if you've got a can of beer. Yeah, it's great if you've got a bottle of beer. Drinking a glass of wine, obviously that sets out just a little bit too wide. Can't put it down, so you just end up absolutely necking it. Yeah, the bottle of wine goes really quickly.
Problem. What's the problem with that?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I don't know why I called it a problem. It's an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The next podcast from the hot tub then.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, we
you two and your budgies.
No, there's an image.
No, absolutely.
That one won't do well on YouTube.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just start recording when we're in it.
Yeah.
And then we'll stop the recording when we get out.
Absolutely.
Nothing. That's it. No in transit to or from. We're not having any of that malarkey.
Nobody needs to see that.
No, absolutely not. No.
But I tell you what else we have done, or more to the point, I procrastinated on, and Gaz finally got around and stuck it to us. You'd booked the hotels anyway, but the train tickets are now booked for Scotland. Obviously, with Andy's impending news, unfortunately, he won't be joining us, but we'll try and get him on a call or something, as long as he's not too busy.
So effectively, the whole story goes, have we booked those train tickets? No, I'm off tomorrow. I'll have a look. I've got the kids, but I'll have a look. Right, okay. So I texted him that night. Did you manage to have a look at train tickets? No, sorry, dude. I'll get on it then. So that was a Wednesday, whenever it was. Got to Thursday. Any news on the train ticket? No, sorry, dude. Can you have a look? Yeah, all right.
I was worried about getting my phone wet.
I thought, hey, he's in the hot tub and he's there. He just can't be arsed. That's all it is. So then I can't remember. I could have a look on. I can't remember the text. But the text came through and I was like, right, okay. Kel surprise. I tell you what, I did get them, and I'm glad I got an email today saying, not long now to stay in Holyrood, Edinburgh. Completely forgot to cancel that.
Oh God, yeah. That was the other plan, wasn't it? Yeah.
So I was like, oh my days, so I'm glad that came through. So that's now been cancelled. That was like,
yeah, because
God, I remember like hundreds of pounds or something. Because obviously, me, Jenny, you, and Kim were going to go. So we just thought, we're going to upgrade. So we upgraded to like a much nicer hotel. Not that there's anything wrong with the Premier Inn. Where we're going to. Well, we don't know that. We'll see. But so we thought we were going to upgrade to quite a nice hotel in Edinburgh. And then obviously transpired we all couldn't go. So just me and Ad. So what I'll do is just downgrade again, go back to the Premier Inn again. Completely forgot to just cancel. So literally came up today and I was like, oh my God, I've got to cancel that. Can you imagine?
Oh, that'd be cool. We'll just stay there instead, dude.
Well, you can cancel Premier Inn up to 1 p.m. on the day. So
exactly, yeah.
It's a little bit more pricey, but but hey ho. So that came through. So, but no, looking forward to that. A couple of weeks' time.
Wow. As this episode will drop on the Monday, we then head out that following weekend. Yeah. That snuck up on us.
Yeah, and obviously we've been in touch with Dave. He's going to meet us, isn't he?
Yeah, Dave and Scott. Yeah, we're going to meet up with Dave and Scott, Andy, and have a few beers, have a game of darts, which means I need to get practicing because I still haven't thrown a dart in a couple of weeks.
Do I take this is a slight nagging concern in the back of my mind? Do I take my actual darts through fear of A, losing them, B, getting pissed and forgetting them, or C, getting them damaged, or do I take my second set of darts, which are very similar? But then I'm not quite as good with them. So I want to obviously be as good as I can be. So
you're not going to leave your darts, dude. You're not going to leave your. How long have you had those darts and you've not lost them?
25 plus years.
And you've never been sober when they're in your hand, so.
Yeah, there is that. So I am contemplating taking my actual set of darts in a nice little original case, just inside my pub coat. There we go. As long as I don't lose my pub coat. I haven't lost my darts. I know exactly where they are, but I don't know where the coaches that the darts are in. So there we go.
Darts in one pocket, world record in the other.
Oh,
just pull out the certificate. Oh, wrong thing.
Should we? No, we shouldn't.
But on that.
Yeah, we are close. We are close, aren't we?
I don't know whether we mentioned it. Did we mention it last week? I don't know whether we did. Our most recent, although it's probably back in the day now, but our most recent attempt, they've actually now effectively revisited the video footage, which they said originally wasn't good enough. And they've revisited it and they said, actually, the video footage is absolutely fine. We just need a couple of witness statements. Well, we wrote the witness statement. So anyway, Big Gray's on it, so he's going to write a couple of statements, and fingers crossed.
A couple of weeks should get sorted.
Assuming that they are good for their word and they say the video evidence is okay, we should be official world record holders again.
Again, that would be nice. Something else to adorn the wall in the downstairs toilet.
Just in time for you to do another one.
Oh, I don't know, dude.
Oh, we'll do another one. We're going to take that one back at some point. The longer we will, honestly, dude, we're doing it.
Isn't it like 60 hours?
No, it's not 60. It's not quite 60.
Is it 50?
If you start in the morning, you would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the first time.
So obviously, I mean, I went to work on the Friday morning.
Yeah.
So I was up at 6:30 or whatever it was Friday morning. Went to work and then started the world record at what time was it? Like 5, no, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
It should have been 4, but Weaver was late.
Weaver was late, yeah. So I'd already been up by the time we started the world record. I'd already been up 12 odd hours.
Yeah.
And obviously, then you go through the 49 hours and what. So you're thinking, see, that just shows what can be done.
Yeah, but we've done it once. That's enough, isn't it?
We don't have to invite Weaver, it's fine.
I can't do it without Weaver. Can't do it without Weaver.
No, he brings entertainment, doesn't he?
Well, that's one word for it.
But no, we'll do another one, dude. We're not quite sure what that will be, but
It'll always just be like a 24-hour dart-a-thon or something. I don't know whether it's just sponsored 24 hours or something.
Yeah, you can do that.
Raise some cash.
It's always nice to have a like. There is one already for most bullseyes hitting a 24-hour. There's obviously we've got the doubles one now, so you know.
I think the trouble is, Andy, you're right. It is something that's great to do, and it's wonderful to raise that money for charity. But our huge egos need to get something out of it at the end of it. We like to have a Guinness World Record.
Yeah, and look, we're not going to do. We're not serial sort of Guinness World Record holders because I think there's only so many times you can go to the well in terms of the same people that you ask for sponsor money, the family and friends and Dartwolf and all that supported us last time.
Oh, yeah,
there's only so many times that you can go to them and say, actually, we're going to do another one. Can you sponsor us again? Can you sponsor us again? So.
That's the other side of it as well, though, dude. Whatever we do, it's unlikely to garner the attention of someone like Dartwall. So it's always going to pale a little bit in significance to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that, to get that level of cash donated was ridiculous.
Oh, it was. And if you're listening, then thank you very much again. And we've obviously said our thanks to him numerous times in the past. But I was talking to, we've got a new member of staff, and I was talking to them about world records and stuff. And I was trying to explain the story.
It just came up.
Just in conversation. So what do you do? Well, I just hold world records. Funny that. Oh, and here's the certificate.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
And I was trying to explain the story of, the story of Dartwolf, and it was just a bit of a random tweet, and then we got in touch, and then all of a sudden one day he said, I'll match your target, and then he went, well, what did Guinness ask? And it's like 6,000-7,000, whatever, I can't remember the number. Well, I'll match that, and then he came back and said, well, whatever your final total is, I'll match that, and it's just like, Jesus, where's this guy come from? It was
incredible.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
It's one of those ones you pinch yourself and he sends a tweet and you think, oh, that is incredible. But minutes later, the money's there and just giving.
Yeah, literally we were there, didn't we? We checked. It's like, oh my God, he's done it. And obviously we were all tweeting, thank you very much, can't believe it. He's like, great cause, guys, fantastic. And it was proper. I mean, I know winning the world record was surreal, but I've never raised that much money before.
No, me neither.
And obviously, Great Ormond Street and, the difference of that. And I know they're a massive charity, and I know they get probably millions of pounds a year in, but for us to raise that much money and feel as though we've made a difference to a small number of families or a massive difference to it was a bit mind-blowing. It was incredible.
And because of the way that we did and the way we donated, I actually ended up on a Zoom call with the CEO of Great Ormond Street thanking us for what we did. And it's like, listen, don't thank me, really.
That's the guy you need to
know. Yeah, the guy, we don't even know his name.
Exactly,
We don't know who he is.
To this day, I don't know who he is.
No, I don't think anybody does.
No. But and you get your recognition, and that was. I mean, when you said that, you were actually I'm on like a Zoom with the top guy. I was like, fudging up.
I know, yeah. It's like I thought, I probably should have dressed a bit smarter and had a shave. You know what I mean? I didn't realise who it was going to be.
But no, I mean, obviously the heady days. But now you've mentioned it, Andy. I don't mind talking about world records.
I didn't mention it.
Probably didn't actually. When we're playing back, it'd be one of us. Oh, quality.
I'm pretty sure. But we'll do something again in the future. But what that will be, but let's just wait and see.
That's it.
So, now we're in it.
That's it. Well, I'll tell you something else that's winging its way to us as well. I know you're going to enjoy some Reload Rub all the way from. I don't know, wherever it is produced in America. Yeah, Johnny Simo has posted it out. A great personal cost to himself as well, I can tell you.
Yeah, and thank you very much.
Indeed. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, absolutely. Because as he said when he messaged me, so he sent me a picture of the receipt, so we had the tracking number, and he didn't tell me the price, but I did see it on the bottom. I said, like, it was $57 to post it out, and that's not for the cost of the rub. That's just the postage. He said, I understand now why Reload won't post to the UK. It's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, but he's bought us all 7 flavours, and I think they retail for $8-9 a pop as well. So we need to sort him out with something.
$100, isn't it? That is.
Yeah.
Right,
it's big money.
But we'll sort him. We'll sort him something.
Well, yeah, greatly appreciated, Mr. Simonetti or Simonetti, whichever one it is. He's always ready.
He's always ready, Mr. Simonetti. He's always. Yeah, no, and again, just I said it last week, but loved having those guys on. Johnny was, great. Great gesture to send it over. We're very, very much appreciative of it. Can't wait to give it a go.
No, absolutely.
Can't wait. And whether the TBR barbecue, we're obviously coming into the winter season, whether that will happen, I'd like to think at some point we can perhaps try and squeeze one in, but
definitely
get a week of good weather, we can perhaps try. So,
but we'll definitely get Todd and Johnny back on and do as Todd suggested, or cook a piece of meat in the same way and try it with the same rub, and just so we can give them a bit of marketing, something they can use.
What we need is like a hot plate, and you just keep it on the hot plate, and then we're here, and it's like first bite, and it's like, oh my god, like I can imagine us all literally like there won't be a podcast for 5 minutes. We're all just like chucking into this. It'll be brilliant, you know what I mean? So,
I can't eat steak. That's the only problem. It's not a choice.
Laugh like chicken or something like that, then. Or
yeah, I'll have to do it.
Some ribs or something.
Tofu.
No, I'm good.
I can't.
You have to be
15 years of vegetarianism. Sorry, I can't. It won't digest, so I can't have steak.
So you need to conquer your body and just force it in and just keep going. Just live off steak for a while.
I've eaten steak twice in the last few years since I've given up vegetarianism, and I tell you, it's not ended well. On one occasion, we had an ambulance. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into details, but it does not digest. It's not one that I could share the story now, but people could be eating. Nobody wants to hear the exact details of that.
If you're eating, just put your nose before it.
No, I'm not. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear of something passing through a system undigested. It's not a pleasant one.
Oh, right. Yeah, and look, I mean, you'll have to look. So how did you get on into it? So pork ribs, okay?
Yeah, it's stuff like that. It's just the only thing I've ever had a problem with since is steak. I mean, minced beef is fine, obviously, or ground beef as they call it in the States, because it is. It already looks like it's been partially digested in the way that it's been prepared. But steak itself, because of the way it is, it's a fairly robust meat. Even when you cook it, and I mean, like really, and I quite like it a bit rare when I've enjoyed it. Even when it's cooked, and like blitz the hell out of, just doesn't sit too well with me, unfortunately.
So is it literally just it? Well, all the red meats, they're okay, or?
Well, this is the thing, because the other thing that Johnny says he's going to send us is some venison, but jerky. Now, I've been okay with jerky. I can eat beef jerky. That goes down okay. Whether it's the smaller chunks or what, I don't know. Or maybe I should just chew my food.
Chew it. Come on, dude.
We'll do something. But it won't be steak for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So we'll do something. I still do like the idea of splitting the bottle into. Effectively, I'll take 3 bottles, or you take 3, or you take 3, or 3 or 3. How many are there? 7. So you do like a 3 and a 2 and a 2 or something, and then we'll cook with a family for a couple of weeks, and then what we do is we'll bring the bottles and we just literally switch it round, and
it's a good way of doing it. Yeah. And
then we have a bit of I prefer that, and I want that went really well with X, Y, and Z. So
they do a hot and spicy one. That's the one I tried to order from them. And that's the one I really want to try. I like spicy food.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had a curry. It was a covenant. So we had a madras, and depending on where you go, madras can be hot, which is nice, or it can be quite hot.
Yeah.
And I don't mind hot that you taste, but it's spicy. I'm not a massive fan, like a farl or something where you physically just can't taste the food. It's just that hot, it burns.
No,
so not a fan of that.
What about you, Andy? Can you handle a farl or? I've seen you with the hot nuts.
No, never tried a farl. I mean, years ago I used to just eat the mild stuff, and then I've slowly built my tolerance up, so I can eat some hot stuff, but I just enjoy medium is my sweet spot, I think. Yeah. I do have some Carolina Reaper hot sauce there. I like to dabble on stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That actually, I do like a Madras and I like a Jalfrezi, and that's about as hot as I like to go. Ian Rawlinson, who went to school with, he loves his Vindaloos, and that's just a little bit too hot for me.
Yeah, but again, it sort of depends on the curry house and the chef, I suppose, because there's been places where I've gone and you have like a Jalfrezi, which is lovely, tasty, spicy. And you'll go to a different place, and then it's a little bit more mild, and don't get me wrong, the flavour's still a little bit more mild, and then so it does sort of change a little bit from restaurant to restaurant.
Well, a lot of it goes down to, in terms of the curries are prepared different in the different regions of India or the different countries, like whether it's in Bangladesh, Pakistan, or India. The different curries are prepared differently. And on that subject, actually, while we're on there, did you see that Latif's has been nominated?
I did.
Yeah, so that gets announced today. I've had a quick look. I couldn't see whether they've won or not, but they are amongst the 10 best curry houses in the West Midlands, was it?
Is that what it was?
Yeah, which is pretty decent.
Yeah, I know that obviously friend of the show, Bill, he tagged us into a Facebook post saying that Latif's have been nominated. So you read a little bit of the story, and so.
We've been there as well, haven't we? And it's a real decent curry in there.
Oh yeah, I think the last few times we've been a bit worse for wear, but the food's still good.
Last time.
Well, there is one occasion. There's a story involving an umbrella, isn't there, dude?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
No, you won't remember that. I don't imagine. No.
Was it Craftworks back in the
Craftworks back in the day? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been on the.
You had been out before then.
Yeah.
And I think you were out with your dad or something like that.
Oh, no, yeah. I'd been out of Big Rain, and I must have arrived at 4 or 5 deep, and it was like, it didn't end well.
No, funnily enough, actually, you said, I've had about 4 pints of San Miguel this afternoon, and now I'm drinking this stuff, the Colonel. I turned to Andy and said, this won't end well.
And then was it,
true to form.
Was that when? So Latif, was it bring your own at that point?
Yeah, it was.
So I don't know what I took in, but probably half. I drank probably half of what I took in.
Like, you were leaded. I remember you were sat at the table and your eyelids are going like that, literally. And honestly, I thought, there. Then it was, I've lost my umbrella. It was back and forth between the curry house and the pub, trying to find it, only to find you'd left it right in the doorway of the curry house.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I don't remember, but subsequent stories. I've sort of walked out, went from Latif back to Craftworks. No, it's not in there. Came, sat back down, goes, I don't know where it is. And I thought, I wonder whether I don't know what I thought there. So I got up and walked again, and then it ended up being, as I'd said, sort of literally in the entrance to Latif. So.
Well, we stayed for an extra pint afterwards, and you started walking home, and you set off one way, then turned around and went back the other. And Andy goes, "Is he all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll be fine."
Yeah.
He's got his umbrella.
Thanks, mate. Just when you need, just when you need your mates to look after you. You know what I mean? He's like, "Yeah, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it." Yeah. In
fairness, you just moved house and thought, I'll go this way. Actually, no, I'll go back the way I was going. It was
quicker. That was it. So I remember thinking, I'll go that. No, I'm walking that way. It's way quicker going the other way. So obviously, just set off heading down one way and then turned around and went the other way. And obviously, that's where you saw me. And it's like, is it all right? Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. So anyway, I was chatting to my eldest daughter Amy. She loved last week's podcast, by the way. Loves going back to.
No, that's great to hear.
So, and we were talking about because I was asking her. She's about to start sixth form, so I was like, "What are you going to do, job front wise? Have you thought she wants to be a physiotherapist?" So, she got really good results at GCSEs. Really proud of her and stuff. So, she's doing 4 A levels and wants to go. And she said, "What I want is physiotherapy, but then I want to go into more the sports side." And be a physio to a football club or a rugby club or a county cricket and go into that. And then she said, and after doing that for a few years, I just want to own my own place. And
she's got plans.
So you got plans, fair enough sort of thing. But I was saying, do your friends know what they want to do? And she's like, well, a couple of them do, a couple of them don't. Like, one of them wants to be a social influencer. And I was like, right.
Don't knock them. That's pretty much what we're trying to do.
But and it got me thinking. I was okay. Is that like a bona fide career? So if someone said to you, "I want to be a wag," if someone, obviously,
if you make it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that was a career though. Being a wag is being married to someone who's made it.
but is that not, and I'm not suggesting that.
Just like Gaz's.
And I'm not suggesting that it becomes the careers advisor says I think we should point you down the becoming a wag route sort of thing. But
do you know what would really suit you?
Finding somebody rich and doing nothing.
Yeah,
actually, that's good. But so it just, in a way, it got me thinking about what were the things, because there was a famous presentation years ago, you've all seen it, Shift Happens and all that, and like the top 10 in-demand jobs weren't even thought of 20 years ago, whatever. So I just thought, if someone said to you, I want to be a reality TV star, or I want to be a social influencer, is that something that you would then tell them to really push and go and do? Or no, I want you to go and be nothing. There's anything wrong with it. Go and get a trader, plumber, a sparky, or whatever. I don't know.
The thing is with those trades, if you've ever tried to book a plumber or an electrician, they're always in demand because there's not enough of them, so they can charge that extra bit more to get to do the job.
Growing up with, and it might be obviously Tiddy and JJ are young, might are a bit older and stuff, and he hasn't, gotten on the way. But in 15 years' time, there's obviously jobs going to be out there that don't exist now. But if Tiddy turned around in, 5, 6, 7 years, turn around and say, actually, I want to be a social influencer, I want to just do YouTube, or I want to do whatever, Kim Kardashian, Charli D'Amelio, all of those people have got millions and millions of people, and you do a bloody stupid TikTok dance. And
it's luck of the draw, though, isn't it? With a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so, anyway. I'll be honest. I applied to go on Big Brother twice when it was back in the day.
I remember.
Yeah, I applied for Series 3 and maybe 5, I think. By then, by the time I sent that last application off, I'd pretty much fallen out of love with that TV show, because it literally was people who just wanted to be famous. That was never my intention. I really enjoyed the first one as a social experiment.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The first one, was it Nasty?
Nasty Nick Bateman, yeah.
Yeah, so that I remember watching the first one thinking, this is mint. Like, as a TV program, as an idea, as a concept, this is amazing. They were just normal people.
They were.
And then the more series you went down,
yeah,
and this is going to sound a little bit un-PC, and I don't mean it to be, but there were various boxes that you had to tick in order. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they were all attention seeking, and then there were certain types of people which were always guaranteed to get on, and I was not one of those, which I'm probably, looking back on it, probably quite pleased about, to be honest. But I also applied to be on Deal or No Deal, and I got down to the final auditions of that one, and then made a bit of a faux pas when I made a joke about wanting the really annoying people to do badly, and then they questioned me on that for a while, and I thought, yeah, that's done it then.
Yeah, that's a no then. Yeah. Have you ever applied for anything, Andy, sort of TV wise, or any sort of game shows or anything? No. Can you ever see yourself being on one?
No, it just doesn't interest me. I watch all these shows, but I just don't like attention, so it won't be for me. Being on TV and all. I went to see I went to see Jeremy Kyle in the crowd. That was
yeah.
And he's like Hawkeye. He's just picked me out from like the 100 odd people there. It's like, you, what's your name and all that shit, and I was just like, fuck off. That's like talk to him, and everyone just turns around and looks at me. I just like start sinking in my seat like that.
That's Andy's claim to fame.
Yeah. I've been to Jeremy Kyle as well. He didn't pick on me. He mentioned he briefly mentioned the fact I was wearing a bright pink shirt, but he left me alone after that. There was a bald-headed ginger guy sat behind me.
It was. It was never one that, back in the day, if you said, because it never existed. YouTube had only just started, and social media hadn't exploded yet. So it was never an option. But it was just like, and it just got me thinking, because obviously I was chatting with Amy, just what is it you want to do, and I just thought, is that a realistic aim?
Well, the trouble is, it's 32 years since I did my GCSEs, and yes, folks, I did GCSEs, not O levels. Thank you very much. I still don't really know what I want to do. Exactly. This was my career. Is certainly not one I ever intended. I just got a job and then ended up doing it for the last 20 odd years.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure why.
But I don't know. Obviously, times change. Back in the day, I wanted to be a sports journalist. I love sport, that. And, I wanted to be one of these guys that went and watched the work in Fleet Street in London and go and work for one of the big newspapers and go and write about the football and you submit your story and then you're off to the next one. And that's what I wanted. That was what I wanted to do. And
again, though, it's those are those positions, and I don't mean it disrespectfully, but they're very few and they're very hard to get into.
Yeah.
Almost, I think sometimes, maybe, if you're in that position, tweet me, tell me I'm wrong. It helps to know the people to get you into that position.
Well, I do think that certain jobs, and people always used to joke, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But I do think that there are certain professions and careers out there that, you get a helping hand. And I'm not suggesting this always happens, but you see the TV dramas, and I know the drama, but your solicitors, your lawyers, your politicians. How do you get into that? There's always somebody that, you used to work in a company with my dad or my uncle or my whoever. Do you know what I mean? There's always a family link there that gets you into it. So, but no, I was Fleet Street journalist. That was it. That was going to be me.
I was contacted by a journalist recently.
Okay.
On Twitter.
Okay.
And I got very excited.
Okay.
Because it was from, I noted it down as one of the things I wanted to mention it last week as well, but never got around to it, from BBC Radio Stoke. A producer from there contacted me. Her name's Jenny Aitken. Okay. So she tweeted me and said, follow me back so I can DM you. And at that point, I got very excited. I thought, that's it. Tall Boy Radio have made it. We're going to get a slot on BBC Radio Stoke. We get an hour prime time. We're going to be doing the breakfast show. No, I did think, I wonder if it is anything related to that. It's got to be related to the podcast. And then I sat there and I waited for about an hour before she finally got back to me. And it wasn't. It was because I tweeted a journalist by the name of James Melville. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, a Scottish chap. Yeah. Because I thought, I was asking for advice at the time. So if someone knows a little bit about travelling during these COVID times, this might be a chap who can help me out when Bo was looking at coming over. Yeah. And she had seen this. Obviously, this was the day, and you text me about 20 minutes before and saying, check out the news because the rules on coming over from America just changed. She had obviously been flicking through tweets, seen mine, and then messaged me about that. I was crestfallen. I thought that's it. TBR, we're going stellar. There's nothing stopping us now. We'll be amongst the stars.
2 a.m. radio slot.
That's it. Yeah.
Everybody's got to start somewhere, dude. The graveyard shift on BBC Radio Stoke.
Absolutely. I'd take it. Would you take it?
Would you?
Yeah.
I'd do it for a bit.
Foot in the door.
Yeah, foot in the door. Yeah. You never know. You never know what might come of it.
Exactly.
Can you imagine that? It's like, right, yeah. So the three of you have got to rock up. And Andy's obviously the straight stooge in the corner. He's just like, man of few words but pearls of wisdom.
Indeed.
Do you know what I mean? Indeed. It would be cool.
It would be, and we are the opposite, aren't we? Really, we offer plenty of words with little wisdom.
And that's absolutely. I was trying to think of which you come by, but there isn't one, is there?
I was going to say about the sports journalism. I think social media has helped that because there's a lot of YouTubers now that have shows on Sky Sports, or they do a YouTube show and they get all like Gary Neville goes on them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's probably flipped a bit now where you can actually make your own look if you do your own show and stuff.
I know you've got almost the synergy between you sort of, I'm going to show my age now, but almost like your urban music and sort of online scene. and you've got various guys that obviously put out their music. And back in the day, shows like Soccer AM was a fantastic show for sort of showcasing new and up and coming sort of bands and stuff. But there is that synergy between you put out your podcast or you might put out a show with certain people's music on there, and then that's sort of merged into, well, they've got their opinions on sport as well, and if you can then marry those two things, Chunks obviously has got, obviously Gary Neville has been on various other people's podcasts.
Well, Jack Langston, who follows us, I think, actually, on our podcast, he does his own stuff, Darts Referee on YouTube. He's got over 30,000 followers on there. And he's found himself on things like BT Sport doing stuff on there, which is a fantastic experience for him. Actually, has his own darts range at the minute. I do have a set of his Gen 1 darts, and they are a really good dart as well, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, so, it just shows you that you have opinions on various things. And look, we've said this hundreds of times on our podcasts over the last year. You just need that bit of luck, don't you? You need that bit of luck for somebody to listen to you. Somebody picks up, I don't know, they listen to a podcast and we're talking about the Premier League or we're talking about NFL and be like, well, actually, that might work. I wonder whether you've got three UK-based guys talking about NFL. That might work. And it's just that one person, that one retweet, that one golden bit of nugget that you think, actually, we can work with that.
There are, and this is the trouble as well, we've said, the amount of podcasts. I think when we quoted these figures the last time, it was something like 750,000. Now there's near on 2 million podcasts out there. So it's a real elbows marketplace. And if you're already famous, you look at the top 50 in just about every category.
And I'm not being funny, out of those 2 million, for us to be number 49 in the Polish charts is a phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible achievement, and that's one of those ones that will go on the CV. Won't be any use like, because it won't be anything that I'm applying for, but still, it'll be there next to my Guinness World Record.
But it does resonate with me a little bit, and Todd mentioned it, and I don't know whether I mentioned it on the episode we did with Todd and Johnny, or it was a week after, but it still sort of blows my mind that there's people in Indonesia, in Iceland, in Singapore, in United Arab Emirates, in New Zealand, in all these places that listen to just three dudes just prattling on about stuff.
And you've got to appreciate that, because when you set out to do this, and like Todd said, you're doing it to an imaginary audience. You don't know when you put it out if anybody's going to listen. And so when somebody does, especially when it's in far off places, you really appreciate that someone's taken the time to listen to what we put out.
Absolutely.
So thank you if you are listening now.
Yeah, and we thank our listeners all the time, and it still just blows my mind. And I know you have an affinity, and obviously Tiddy and China and Todd and Scottish Alchemist and people that we've sort of collaborated with, and this, that, and the other. So, but to think that there's people in 36
different countries,
different countries that have downloaded our podcast and listened to us. And you know what? Even if that's just a one-time occurrence, you know what?
Clearly in Poland it was more than once, because
in Poland,
briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, not briefly, for a couple of months.
Yeah, you know what? And let's hope that we gravitate back to those heady heights. But it still does blow my mind that there's people all over the world.
And we had a stay in the New Zealand charts, and we had a very brief appearance in the UK charts, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, we did. Phenomenal. I don't know what episode on the back of it that was on the back of, but for us to be in the UK podcast chart was outrageous, really.
It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable,
it's
really.
Stupid, really. But again, it goes back to that. Is it that one topic theme? Is it that just that one retweet? Is it that one mention? What is it that changes the trajectory of a podcast to go from it's growing to, oh my god, that's just...
Well, this is something interesting, actually, because if you're listening to this now, you'll have clicked on a link and you'll have seen our faces appear, because we've just recently changed the podcast art. And what I've noticed, actually, since I've changed it, normally tail end of a week, the podcast listens sort of tail off to the new episode. actually, it picked up again and it listened again. And actually, it started really, really sprightly. So I don't know if there's anything to do with it, but maybe the new podcast artwork is paying dividends. It perhaps looks more attractive. It sells a better picture, I think, of what we offer than the 3 beer cans that we had before. I certainly like it. And thank you, Jack. It was my cousin, Jack Hyatt, for doing it. Yeah. If you're interested, Jack Hyatt Art, get in contact with him on Instagram or Facebook. He doesn't just do that. He does huge paintings as well. This is actually, podcast artwork is not something he genuinely does. We just thought, chance our arm with him.
Absolutely, yeah.
God bless him, he's my cousin. I know he'll get a good deal.
How much beer did it cost you?
just a couple of quid, really. It wasn't too bad.
But no, and I say, and if, I suppose everybody's after that golden, that golden nugget, that if we all knew what the secret was, then we'd all be doing it, wouldn't we? So
100%, yeah. Everybody be famous.
Yeah, and there's lots of people that are famous that perhaps shouldn't be, and that's various people's opinions. But
go on, name us one. Andy will.
Go on, Andy. Go on.
Hundreds. Anyone on a shitty show like Towie and all them. Like, I'm not even going to name them. Like, don't deserve it.
No, I'm with you on that one, dude. I don't get that.
I think if you got, I'd say, I find TV's getting dumber. Like, you know what I mean? Like all these quiz shows that are like funny and all that. Just get someone on it who's, just being annoying, and that's how you get popular. That's my issue. I'm not annoying enough.
I don't know. Working up to it.
Yeah, few more. I need about a few beers, and then I'm annoying.
Put yourself down.
But it's weird because we're watching, and I don't know whether you watch it. I've watched a couple of series. The celebrity SAS Who Dares Wins thing, and basically there's 8 or 10 celebrities, and they're effectively put to their paces by Ant Middleton and his team of, these are ex-Special Forces guy. I don't think he's going to do the next series because I think he put out some sort of dodgy tweet or something or the book. But this is the last series that he's going to do. And they put the various celebrities to their paces and they train them in various things. So, and without naming the person that, one of the people that are on there, it was like, what do you do other than go from effectively reality TV show to reality TV show to reality TV show, and that's now their career.
There's a lot of people who are famous for being famous.
Yeah, and they're not necessarily singers or actors or sports people. They're famous for effectively, as Andy said, getting onto a reality TV show, and then from that they get another reality TV show, and before you know it, they're in the jungle, and then they come out of the jungle, and then they're in something else, and all of a sudden it's like, actually, when your name appears underneath it says TV personality, it's like, or reality TV star, and you're like, so actually that, and don't get me wrong, we're making a fantastic living out of it. They're living high life, they'll be earning mega money and stuff, but actually all that they're famous for is being on reality TV shows.
Yeah.
And in a way, a bit of a full circle, is that then something that, because kids these days see that, I've got a 16 and a 14-year-old, so they see these people and they sort of want to be like them, and they think, well, they've done okay for themselves, and it's like, yeah, but really?
Do you know, funnily enough, and this blows my mind, because I can remember when I was a kid, a long time ago, I know, thank you very much, and I was playing with toys, but I've got a 4-year-old daughter, she's 5 in January, and sometimes when she's playing with the toys, she's got an imaginary camera in front of it, and she'll be playing with the toys, like, whether it's like the eggs and stuff that you put stuff inside. She'll be like, okay guys, what we've got here today is a selection of different eggs, and I'm going to open them. It's like, what on earth? Where are you seeing this? Obviously she's seen YouTube, or TittyTube as she calls it. But yeah, it's like, so she's opening stuff up and doing it for an imaginary audience and talking you through it and what she's finding. It's like, this blows my mind. And sometimes when she's doing craft, because she'll watch craft on there as well, she'll start talking through like she's commentating.
Like a narrator. Yeah, it's like a commentator, like a narrator of the TV show. And now you can see somebody doing it. And
it's going to be perfectly normal for her generation.
And that's what. So and I said it a little bit tongue in cheek earlier, but what, 7 or 8 years time, if Tiddy then turns around and goes, right, GFG, I'd be like, or right, Dad, I want to be.
Yeah. Well, the real question is, obviously, Andy's little one that's due any day soon. How long before she has a podcast that surpasses ours? She, I don't know which it is yet. Surpasses ours.
Babies do well on the You've Been Framed and stuff, so it could be quite quick.
They do very well.
I was going to say, you should either, I was thinking of something like the Truman Show or the Osbournes for you guys, just do like the Beans and just film like a few cameras around your house.
Yeah, it'd be a limited run, I suspect.
A week in the life of Beans.
Yeah, it'd be. He's drinking again, isn't
he? Strong, mint.
Mint. He's just got in from work.
That'd be me.
That's it, yeah. What's he doing
Where's he pulled that bottle from?
Yeah. What's he doing in the car? I think he's got a can out there.
Why is he crying?
You just see rocking in the corner like this. Beer in hand.
I went from an idea to a character assassination quite quickly. Lord Almighty.
It is strange how the different generations. I wonder, and it makes me wonder. Obviously, my nan, God rest her soul, she died when she was 100. Right, so Jenny's granddad he's I say fit and healthy. He's 94, I think, something like that. And it makes me wonder what these generations would think about current generations and we're getting on a bit now. We're a bit older than Andy, sort of thing. So we're nearly that half century old sort of thing. So I know it doesn't bear thinking about. But what are we going to think in 20 years' time? Andy's kid gets born, and in 20 years' time, you're thinking, really?
I saw a meme actually which tickled me, which related to that, and it was like, if you think you're smarter than the last generation, their auto car manuals told you how to change a valve, has warned you not to drink the fluid in the battery. And that goes back to what Andy says about dumbing down. And yeah, you do wonder when, I wonder what my nan, who, God bless her, my daughter is named after him, and name's Halwyn, named after her. I do wonder what she would make, because she was, quite an avuncular character, but at the same time quite staunch and opinionated. I think she would be, I don't know what she'd make of it all.
It's that whole celebrityism sort of concept that I just struggle to get my head around a little bit.
Is it something you'd be interested in? Would you want to be famous?
Yes, for the spoils that come with it in terms of, but for me, I would be famous. I would love to be famous within a sporting context. So I would love to be able to play sport to an elite level where I became famous for playing that sport.
Not streaking then.
No. What I wouldn't want to be famous for is then, I'm trying to think of it. So playing sport to an elite level and then becoming like a Jack the Lad, one of the lads, like back in the day, you looked at the Liverpool, so you've got like Fowler, Redknapp, and McMahon, the Spice Boys, and all that. So so yes, they were elite level sport, but they were also known for enjoying lots of. Back in the day, Paul Scholes kept himself to himself. Phenomenal footballer, one of the best footballers ever produced. Never heard from him. Never said. You never heard about him getting any bother out in town. You never heard about him getting in bother with any paparazzi or anything like that. So, yes, I would like to be famous from a sporting point of view, but that would have meant that I would have made it at an elite level of sport. But being famous for famous sake and all that paparazzi and people follow you around and take your photos and you're on OK Magazine and all that,
doesn't appeal.
It doesn't appeal. It doesn't appeal to me.
What about? Well, I think I know when I ask Andy what he's going to say, given he hates people.
I'd go the similar route of being a sports person or films or something like that, because it's something you can do, and you just do whatever that is, a film or playing football or whatever, and you just concentrate on that, and it's just like the times you're not doing that, you just sit in your house and drink. maybe not as a footballer. Oh, exactly, yeah.
What did he say? Spent I spent money on fast cars, fast women, and drink, and then wasted the rest or whatever.
Something like that.
Interesting, and you mentioned actors and stuff, and I read, I think it came up on it might have been a link to a story on Twitter, and it's about Keanu Reeves, and he just did you pick? I don't know whether you saw the same one, but
I've read a few articles about Keanu Reeves. He's a very interesting character, and
he was talking about. He basically, they were throwing a party for his end of film, whatever the film was. I don't know whether it's
one of the John Wick films.
Oh, John Wick, maybe. I don't think it was the Matrix. I think it's post Matrix. But and they were throwing a party, and he basically arrived a bit late, and he stood and queued to be let in.
Yeah.
And the bouncer didn't recognise him, so he just stood there. None of this like, do you know who I am? He just literally stood and waited effectively to be let in, and then somebody must have come and do you actually know who that guy is? And he's like, oh, that's Keanu Reeves. Bouncer obviously, oh my god, mortified. Oh my god, didn't you come? And anyway, the story evolved in terms of he would regularly give up his salary for films, and he would go and help the homeless. And they said that he would spend time with the homeless, and whether or not it's his role, but he would use his fame, but he would fit in. He said he would be more than happy to go sit with the homeless, talking to them. He'd go and sit in an office block. He'd go and sit in, and he would be just one of those people. And he used obviously his fame, and he raised loads of money, and he donated loads of money, and a lot of his salaries he used to help various communities and stuff. But you know, he was one that helped others. He was one that, you know, he's a mega famous film star, but it wasn't like, look at me, I'm the big I am, I want all the flashing lights and the cameras. He would be quite happy just to effectively shy away and use his money and his fame and his fortune in other ways. You know,
it's incredible, that is really. For me, it doesn't appeal in any way at all. Don't get me wrong, it brings with it riches, and everybody would like that easy, comfortable life. But I don't think it is an easy, comfortable life.
So what would happen then? Okay, so going back to what we were saying 10, 15 minutes ago, either you were successful on your application for Big Brother, or you were successful on your application for Deal or No Deal, and a TV offer came in.
Supermarket suite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, a TV offer came in, and
don't get me wrong.
You do it, wouldn't
you? You would do it, yeah. You would.
So then, if you did it, and then that led to something else, would you not do that as well?
More than likely.
And all of a sudden, you can see I'm going with. That's the road that you go down. Then,
but you do hear of these people who end up doing that for that level of self-gratification to give them the self-worth that they then don't feel fulfilled and end up in having deeper and darker thoughts. You only have to go down sort of the, you know, God rest her soul, Caroline Flack route, you know, the deep unhappiness that she felt, where actually, you know, she was probably seeking some level of recognition and fulfillment and didn't receive it because it is ultimately hollow and shallow. And I think that's why it doesn't appeal. I'm not suggesting I wouldn't still make the same mistakes that other people have made and go down it, just out of whether we believe it or accept it or not. We've all got egos. And that thought that it could be me, it could happen to me, and this is what it could give me. But I do think the weight that comes with it far outshadows the benefits.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, there are obviously riches to be had. And that's are you chasing that 4-leaf clover, or are you chasing that golden money pot at the end of the rainbow? Or, you know, it's like someone offers you X and you think, well, I'll take that. And then someone offers you Y, you think, well, am I comfortable with that? No, but I can earn that. I can get that. That allows me to do this. So then you take that job, and all of a sudden that leads on, and before you know it, you're hosting The Cube, or you're an actor on wherever, or you know, where do you, if you go down that route, where do you stop and say, actually, almost enough's enough now, I'm comfortable with what I'm doing now, and I'm going to shy away? And that's what, you know, going back to what I was talking about the celebrity SAS thing, and there's a couple of people on there that, and don't get me wrong, there's people on there that have made it in various, there's an Olympian on there, there's a famous newsreader on there, you know, there's lots of people that have made it in their fields, but without being too derogatory. There were a couple of people on there that you think, actually, you know what, you're really on there because you've done a few other reality TV shows.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. I'll tell you what, we've gone down some avenues tonight, haven't we?
A couple of left turns, haven't we?
And on that note, we're at the hour mark.
Yeah.
We're at the hour mark. I mean, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? Is it?
Well, I only have one question. It relates to the podcast, actually. One thing I was wondering about, sort of tailing out on. With every other episode, obviously, we put out a blog post. And because we've always had a topic, we've always had a key thing to blog about. So the question is now, what do we do with the blog? Do we do a blog about the beers that we're drinking on that episode? Or do we just pick out one subject and do a bit of a deep dive into that and stick out a little bit of information where people can hopefully get their teeth into it?
I think you probably go down the second route. I think if we wanted to, we could talk about the beer as part of the podcast. I think we could talk about one element of whatever we've spoken about on the podcast and just throw that out there. And I'm not saying, is fame and fortune the be all and end all or whatever, you know what I mean? And you do, and you allow people to explore their thoughts. And if you were offered it, would you take it? And would you not then be worried about where that might lead? Or, so I think you go down that. Good shout. Good on that route, I think.
Good shout. And just actually on another subject related to the podcast, we had Dave on a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Our good buddy Dave.
Yeah.
Now, when Dave pitched that idea to us, God bless him, he had this idea for doing it as like a devil's advocate episode, which is why we call it Dave Ill's Advocate. And I messaged back to him, listen, dude, you're going to find out next week when it drops. We're actually doing it as a beer podcast now, so it needs to be beer based, which is why he did the episode. We did actually think it's a pretty solid episode. But I messaged him and said, look, if you want to come on and do that original episode, because it's just free, we're just going to talk, it's not planned. So you can ask us the questions and we won't have any of the research. He says, well, it could be a little bit dark and a little bit deep. And I listened to the last one and it wasn't. It's like, yeah, but it can go down that route. So it's fine. Hopefully it won't get too dark. Okay. Delving into the depths of Andy's soul. Gee whiz, that's not
it's a dark place. That is a dark place.
Don't have a soul.
No, I forgot he sold it to Satan a few years back. You got a good deal.
Yeah. Obviously, Satan provided him with a month long of delirium.
Yeah, and it was gone in a week.
I diddled the devil.
Yeah. Now there's a strap.
There's an episode title.
But yeah.
I was about to say, you're going to say goodbyes and all that, then.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're out of time. Go on, dude.
Yeah, look, again, I've enjoyed the last couple of weeks. Just chatting with the guys. I love exploring where the left turns are going to go. Really look forward to the future episodes or where it takes us, and really looking forward to revisiting a couple of things that maybe we've done in previous episodes, and let's revisit them. But loved it again tonight, guys. Been a bit of a hoot.
Absolutely, dude. I've enjoyed it as well. I really enjoyed the new format. Probably the one I've enjoyed the most, actually. And when Andy said we're only about the hour mark, I was like, what, seriously?
Yeah.
It feels like we only fired up the mics about 10 minutes ago.
Just chatting.
I really, really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. Certainly the listening figures seem to reflect that you are. So thank you very much for listening. Now I'll see you again next week.
And I have one word of wisdom for once. It's a saying I've learned probably last year or so, but I think it applies to everyone, and no matter how old you are, don't be a dick. Peace out.